I did go to Sabin, and Sabin was, I like to say, a fun environment with good people. We didn't have the issues that I feel are happening today, but that's times have changed. I like to think that you always go back to your roots. I coach at Mitchell High School and I went to Mitchell, so something came up at Sabin. I was like, it was meant to be, I'm going to Sabin. Well, the type of students is a little different than what I'm used to since I'm on the other side of it, being a staff member. And the kids are a lot more mature, and I'd like to say, than I was in middle school. There's so many things at hand that wasn't available when I was here. Like, we have iPads now. That was not available then. Well, some of my teachers, for example, Miss Sabin, she was my teacher, Mr. Butler, Miss Meredith, Miss West, who was my computer literacy teacher, she's now my boss. So for the better, the sports programs now that they have more of an opportunity for football. I've seen the technology open up. We have the Spheros and the BB-8s that wasn't around, iPads, just overall laptops at hand, ready to use. You know, Sabin's is a great place, it's a great community. It's very diverse, which allows a little bit of everything to happen.
I would say Sabin's changed in quite a few ways. For one, with Irving closing down, we now get a lot more students from all around Colorado Springs, so I think we have a wider range of students. I also think Sabin has changed in terms of morale. I know personally for me being back here, it's changed in the way sort of the rules, the classes are bigger, the hallways are busier, and definitely a lot of different things. Well, it was a great time, not that it isn't now. It was a lot of fun. We focused a lot we did a lot with sports. I mean, everyone in the school was always involved in sports, dances, assemblies. I had my mom here with me when I was going here, so I had her here. I knew all of the teachers. It was just a really fun time. I think it was interesting my first few weeks here. Obviously, with the other Miss Myers being my mom, I've been in Sabin a lot, even after I went to middle school here. But now being a teacher and being sort of an authoritative person here, it's kind of changed my aspect of the school. So walking through the halls, you're no longer just a kid who gets to goof around. You're kind of someone who has to monitor things, and getting to know the staff on a professional level versus them being your teachers. It's definitely been a change, and you definitely look at the school in different ways. I think it's really made improvements in the community. I think that the fact that we get a poll from a larger range of students, you know, polling from those kids who went to Irving and greater area really kind of makes the community larger, and in turn has made the students accept differences in so many more areas. So now we know, oh, there's people who live all the way over here and I live over here, or what is your home life versus mine? And I think they've really done a good job at making sure we know more so what the real world is like outside of Sabin, because we get so much diversity here. I'm proud to be a Sabin Saint again.
In many ways it has changed for the better. We are more focused on academics than we were on social issues at the time. We had a lot of team teaching going on. Communications, arts, and social studies were together. You had them twice a day, but they taught together. We had a model congress at the time. Our principal was actually the President of the United States. The assistant principals were the Vice President and the Speaker of the House. We had counselors who would come in and propose the bills and issues that we used to do. We used to have free times, free periods, 2 of them a day, which meant time where you were supposed to get your work done. It didn't always happen that way. We were an open campus. You could wander off if you wanted to. There was no place to go, though. This was all an empty field at one point. Unfortunately for me, there's a long period of time between student and teaching. And I came here because my old school, Irving, had closed. First, wasn't really all that thrilled in the idea of coming here, because Sabin was I'll call it the opposition. But once I was here and we got used to the place and we became a member of the family, the SAIL team, or now GMP team, and I were all Irving refugees. And we're all fitting in here very well and enjoying it. It's a very, very different place from when I was a student. I'm different, they're different. I have been teaching long enough that I do have former students who are now teachers, just not here. And it's an awesome feeling to know that some of them were inspired enough to come back and stay. This is not a place to be afraid of. It's not a place to be glad to be rid of. It is sometimes a place to come back to and be very welcomed and happy to be here. You learned here, you can teach here. Sabin rocks.
When I went here, so it was a maze of non-permanent walls where you would literally have to walk through 1 or 2 classes to get to your class. The library literally was a hallway. It was split in 2 and you could just walk down the middle. When it first opened, it was open concept, so there were no walls. You could roll a bowling ball from one end of the building to the other, which I would not have been successful in that type of environment. But so there have been a lot of changes. One change that has not taken place. I still have one of my teachers here that taught me, and that is Michael Butler. I have had students that have gone on to go to school to be art teachers. I believe that that is the best compliment as a teacher that you can get. I think it would just be carrying on a tradition if one of my students came back and took over my position. At the time we had 2 art teachers, so the computer lab next to us was Mr. Hampson, and he's truly the one that taught me that this is what I wanted to do. He always made it look fun. Ever since I've been back, I have had much more pride. Just knowing that I went to school here, that I'm now teaching here. I took over for my former art teacher who made me want to be an art teacher. So much more pride in the school, pride in being a Sabin Saint.